Stop dismissing and denying the pain that you feel. Stop allowing people to bulldoze over your emotions and bulldoze over your experience. If people don't have the capacity to have compassion and be present with you, you have to be the responsible one. And you have to be willing to acknowledge where they're at. Hola! Well, hello. How you doing? Y'all, I don't know if this is just my experience at the moment, but it feels like time is moving super duper fast right now. Like, things are unfolding at a very extreme rate. And because of that, like, you have got to take your power back. You have got to be conscious of what you're spending your time on and doing, what you're allocating space and energy to, what you're giving your power to, how you're perceiving yourself, how you're perceiving and looking at others, what you're judging as true or not, worthy or not, what you're judging as bad, good, all of that. We have all of these internalized judgments that we allow to influence us and to keep us from basically being who we truly are. Because we've been conditioned, y'all. There's a programming that is operating within you that is actually contrary to your nature. It's not you. It really isn't you, and it barely has anything to do with you. That energy that's holding you to an identity that is no longer true for you is hell-bent on survival. That's what survival mode really is. It's basically you being blind to your abundance at all times. Because when you're blind to abundance, what does that mean? You're thinking you're missing something. You're in lack. You need something. You're without something. You're alone in the world or the universe, whatever. And that's not the nature of God. That's not the nature of divinity. That's not the nature of abundance. That's not supernatural power. That's not wholeness. People in the world, and it's really just a consciousness. It's not even people per se, because we take it personally because it comes through the conduit of people. It comes by the channeling of people. But it's not like, oh, your old friend hates you down. No, they don't actually hate you. They don't actually hate you. They don't even know you well enough to hate you. And somebody could spend every day of their life with you and still not know you well enough to hate you. They don't know you to your fullest extent. And you don't know them to their fullest extent. They don't hate you. They're just in fear. You don't hate them. You're just in fear. Your ego is hurting. Your heart is hurting. Allow it to hurt. Let it be okay. Stop dismissing and denying the pains you feel. Stop dismissing and denying the pain that you feel. Stop allowing people to bulldoze over your emotions and bulldoze over your experience. If people don't have the capacity to have compassion and be present with you, then you have to be the responsible one and you have to be willing to acknowledge where they're at. This is a game of energetic responsibility. Will you take back responsibility of your own self and your own power and your own energy field? Will you take back responsibility of your own behaviors? Will you show up as you, as the true you, the loving you, the open-hearted you, the one that releases judgment, the one that's willing to think differently, the one that's willing to receive a higher perspective? Will you be that one? And as difficult as it may be sometimes, I know sometimes it hurts. But if you really allow the process, if you really surrender and let go to whatever the universe has for you, to whatever God is trying to teach you, to whatever source is wanting to flood into you and feed into you. Because God wants you to be abundant. That's what overflow is. But you have to allow the flow. Like, you have to allow things to flow in and out of your life. You have to allow things to go when they must go and to come when they must come. That means you need to be open. You need to be open, an open channel, an open conduit, an open vessel. We have so many definitions of what friendship looks like, what love looks like, what life looks like, what romance is, what religion is, what spirituality is, when all is spirit. God is this and God is that. And if you don't go to church and if you're not like this, girl, y'all are missing the experience because you think in a limited way, in a limited consciousness. You're putting God into a box, so therefore he can only show up when you enter the church. You're putting God into a box, therefore you can only feel seen when you're talking to your friends. You're putting God into a box, therefore you only feel loved when you're in a romantic relationship. Stop putting yourself in a box. Stop putting God in a box. He is the limitless, and so are you. You are a byproduct of Source. You are a descendant of Source. Divinity is your divine inheritance. Abundance is your divine inheritance. Truth is who you are. Love is who you are. And anything outside of that is just an illusion. It's just a programming. It's just a consciousness that makes you feel less than who you are. And that's okay. It's here for a reason. It's helping you to unveil and uncover and discover who you naturally are. It's part of the adventure. It's part of the journey. That's what and consciousness is. We think in limited perspectives of polarization. Something has to be either or. It's Christianity or Buddhism. It's right or wrong, good or evil, Beyonce or Taylor Swift. Girl, no. There's such a thing as and consciousness, which means two things can be true at one time. Because love is a bridge, not a division, not a divider. Love merges together all things. Love honors all things. Love is neutral to all things. Therefore, it's not judging you. You are judging yourself because of the patterns and the conditioning that's in your own being. Ooh, shit. That's in your own being. Let it go. Let it go. It's okay. It's not you. It's not you. It's not even your parents. It's not your loved ones. It's not your friends' fault. There's no one here to blame. It's just a consciousness. But it's your job to alchemize that energy, to release that trauma, to let go of what's binding you. Your freedom is your responsibility. It's your job to liberate yourself. And you don't necessarily need to do all the work. You need to be willing to let go and receive. Like, it became a point in time, for example, if we're thinking about slavery, let's put it in the concepts, let's put this into context. Slavery, think 1800s United States, right? The girls were enslaved. They had masters. If they wanted to be free, they had to run like hell and risk possible death or risk their loved ones being hurt. There was so much there that could happen, that could go wrong. Then the Civil War happened. And it was like, oh, snap. Like, we can actually fight for ourselves now. Like, God has taken the training wheels off. You can fight for yourself now. You can advocate for yourself now. You can love yourself now. And that doesn't mean fighting against anyone. It means taking off your own shackles, getting off the plantation, and finding what freedom looks like for you. Finding your own life and operating in your own nature, in your own true divinity. Becoming who you are and letting go of that which is not true to you. Letting go of that which is not you. And loving whatever it is. If something held you down, if something hurt you, we let it go gracefully. Because you don't want that in your spirit. You don't want that as your responsibility to hold on to pain. It's your job to be free in all aspects of your life.